morning. Hey, I want to take a few minutes to talk to y'all a little bit about a reel I recently picked up. I say recently, I've been using this thing for about 5 months now. I was looking for something. You know, anybody that watches my channel pretty much knows I use bait casters and that's it. I bought a spinning reel a couple of years ago, tried it, didn't like it. It's out there in the shed now. I don't use it. And just not my style. Because I'm not very good at it. Let's just go ahead and say it. I can't throw a spinning reel worth a damn. Tried it more than once. Just not for me. So anyway, I was looking for something that I could use to fish for panfish, brim, specifically more than anything else, crappie, white perch. Something I could put some light line on and light tackle and still make a decent cast. I did a lot of research, and I think the top 3 Spincast reels out there are the Zebco Bullet, the Fluger, is that how you say it? President, and the Kastking Brutus. Now, I opted for the Kastking Brutus, and I opted for it because it's 35 bucks. And again, I've been using this thing for about 5 months. Have not had any issues at all with it. I spool it with 6-pound monofilament. This thing is pretty well made, and I want that. The only thing I've really got to compare it to is a Zebco 202, which is as far as I'm concerned, it's a piece of junk, and Zebco 33, which also, you know, 20 years ago, the Zebco 33 was a good reel. Nowadays, not so much. I bought one last year. I bought a combo, Zebco 33 Classic Combo. It lasted for about a month, and then it stopped working. It got to the point where you couldn't turn the handle on it. So anyway, this Kastking Brutus 30 Spincast reel, aluminum. What do you call this? The front cone. This is aluminum. The frame is graphite. Button, graphite. That handle, it's actually got 2 stainless steel, you can see them in that video, but it's got 2 stainless steel pickup pins. It is it's a smooth casting reel. You know, if you watched any of my recent videos of me out there in the fishing out there in the pond, the jigs I'm using out there in the pond, I'm gonna give Parabellum another little plug here. But I actually just getting ready to put some fresh line on this thing. I decided I would do a little review on it. So Parabellum jig head, and I'm pairing that up with a Bobby Garland baby shad. That is a Cajun cricket color, which I've been using a little bit recently out there, and it seems to do pretty well. That jig head is a 16th 1/16 ounce jig head. And I can cast that thing for a long way. A few more things about this reel that impressed me. It may not be as impressive as somebody else. For one thing, $35. The Zebco Bullet is $100. I'm not never gonna pay $100 for a Spincast reel. Never. The anti-reverse on this handle is it's instant, which on a Spincaster, that's impressive to me. The 33 Classic, the 202 that I have used, you know, get a fish on, it seems like it pulls 12 inches of line out before this catches. This is instantaneous. It is also, what you call it, ambidextrous. Is that the right word? You can take this handle off this side and put it on this side. All you gotta do is undo this little thumb wheel, pull it out, put it in, put the thumb wheel on this side, and if you're left-handed, back in business. It's also got a fairly large opening for the line. I spool it with 6-pound test line simply because I'm crappie fishing. You could probably use this thing for bass fishing. I've never tried it. I don't have any reason to try it. That's not what I bought it for. I've got bait casters for that. But it's a well-made reel. And it's, again, off of Amazon, $35. It's got a Teflon drag system, which the only issue that I've had out of this thing at all is a couple of times out there on the pond, that drag stopped working. Now, I don't think that's the fault of the reel as much as it is the fault of James, because I leave this thing out there in the P-row and you know, if I'm out there fishing and I come up on the bank, lay the reel down in the bottom of the P-row, well, it rains, reel gets wet. Reel gets wet, drag stops working. But it's very easy to take this thing apart, clean it a little bit, put it back together, drag works fine. So again, I think that drag not working is more a condition of who owns it than a fault of the reel. I have caught some decent sized crappie on that, and you know, it's got the same problem that every Spincast reel I've ever used had. After you're using it for a little while, that line's gonna get twisted. I've never used any Spincast reel that after you used it for a little while, the line didn't get twisted. So I do, you know, I wish there was one out there that didn't, but they've all got basically the same design. You know, you push the button, pins go in, cast it out, turn that handle, pins go out, wrap around that spool, and as it's wrapping around that spool, it's gonna get twisted. There ain't no way around it. But if you're like me and you don't like using a spinning reel, or you can't use a spinning reel, you know, I've read a couple of things would say Spincasters are made for kids and beginners and whatever. I'm not a beginner. I'm certainly not a kid. But there is a use for this Spincaster in my tackle box, in my boat. If I'm pan fishing, I'm not gonna do it with the Black Max. I'm not gonna do it with a Shimano SLX. I'm not gonna do it with anything that's bait casting. I'm gonna do it with either a Spincast reel or a spinning reel, because you have to use smaller lures, lighter tackle. You're gonna have a hard time with a bait caster. And honestly, I bought this thing because, again, I read some reviews. It gets good reviews. I read the reviews on the Zebco Bullet. It gets good reviews. The Fluger, let's say it's Fluger. I don't know. It ain't spelled, you know. Anyway, President got good reviews as well. The retrieve on this reel, I think, outdoes both the others. I had to go back maybe and look at that, but this has a 4:0 to 1 retrieve ratio on it, which for a spin caster is fast. I can keep a buzzbait on top of the water with this thing without having to go through too much trouble. 4:1 on a spin caster that's a fast retrieve. I would say the 202 is probably 2:1, and most of the spin casters out there are probably going to be about the same. I don't know what the bullet is because I don't give a damn what the bullet is, because again, I'm not going to spend $100 for no spin cast reel. So I took this thing apart last night, cleaned it up a little bit, put it back together. I actually recorded that little process, and I don't take it all the way apart. I take it about halfway, just enough to get to the drag so I can clean it up, put it back together, put a little oil in the bearings, that kind of stuff. Which is another thing. I don't know why they say, what's this thing say? Five plus one. That means, according to their website, one revolution of that handle moves that lure 15 inches, which is, that's pretty fast. It'll hold 160 yards of 10-pound test, so the line capacity is pretty good on it. I don't use 10-pound test, I use 6-pound test, because again, I use it for crappie fishing. 6-pound test, it'll probably hold 180 yards. I don't know, it'll be a little more than the 10-pound. So, if you're looking for a good spin cast reel, price point, $35. Again, graphite housing, graphite button, aluminum nose cone. It's got a good design on it. The reel seat, very well made. And again, I've been using this thing for about 5 months now, and I like it so much. I'm gonna have another one in my mailbox today. I actually ordered another one, and I ordered it because my granddaughter fishes out there with me sometimes, and what she's using is a POS. I'm sure y'all know what that stands for. This is a Zebco 202, which I used out there for a long time out there in the pond. You know, and for what it is, I think this combo comes with the rod and the reel was about $15. This is a child's toy. And if she goes out there and she's trying to learn how to fish, I don't want her to try to learn how to fish on this. So I got a second Kastking Brutus 30. that I'm gonna put, I'll probably use that rod, put one of these reels on it so that she won't get frustrated with her ability to make a cast. Anyway, that's my review. 35 bucks well spent. And again, I just ordered another one. If you have this reel and your drag is not working, take that nose cone off, pop that little keeper out, pull those nylon washers off, clean them up, put it back together. Guarantee you, your drag will start working again. Appreciate y'all watching.